Hi, it's John at C Nation, and you're listening to the Kush Journals. Join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for an up-close and personal look at cannabis industry news and developments, the hottest stories of the day, legislative movement from around the country, and some good times each Friday as Zen, Julie, and I tackle fun and entertaining content from inside the cannabis culture. Hey, it's John at C Nation, and welcome to High Times Friday. Say hi, Zen.
Hi.
Say hi, Jules.
Well, hello. I didn't say Jules this time.
It's true. Anyway, hey, in case you feel like you're scratching your head and think it's Saturday and we said High Times Friday, it is Saturday. It just morphed into Saturday. We had some things going on yesterday and we couldn't quite get to this, but we've got a really great High Times Friday lined up. Though I have to say, not my favorite game in the world. I don't mind it. Sometimes the questions are a little goofy though. But we're going to go through this. It is called the hardest Would You Rather questions for people who love weed. Published by High Times 2 weeks ago on March 1st, 2018. Presented by Tim Kohut. Thank you very much for this content. I'm going to read their little introduction. There's a dozen of these Would You Rathers. We're just going to read the Would You Rather.
And discuss that.
We will discuss that because we have some opinions. Like I said, this is going to be fun. It's not my favorite game in the world, but these are...
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
It's decent.
What is your favorite game?
Yeah, I don't know. Hockey?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Though I do like card games a lot, though. I like Omaha and Pinochle and Spades and Hearts and things like that. Anyway, let's get to this. Oh, like I normally say, without further stalling for time, here we go. For most of us, smoking weed has become more of a lifestyle than a hobby, and with legalization continues to run rampant, the once taboo notion of toking up is beginning to become a more socially acceptable form of recreation. As a result, there are plenty of new options that entice even the most novice of smokers to dabble with. These include dabs, edibles, THC cartridges, and so on. So we decided to have a little fun with the with the new golden age of cannabis and thought of some of the hardest would you rather questions for people who love weed. Take a look at what we came up with. So, before I jump right into number one here, give us a brief what is Would You Rather? How does it work? What do we do? What's the game?
Well, you pick one or the other. It gives you a choice of A or B, and you pick one of them.
So would you rather do this or would you rather do that?
Yep.
And you have to choose one. There's no middle ground. It's really that simple.
It's simple, yeah.
It is simple. So, would you rather, number one, only smoke out of glass or only smoke paper for the rest of your life?
Glass. I can't roll, so...
It gives you more diversity in ways that you can smoke. Smoke out of a pipe, smoke out of a bong, smoke out of a bubbler, smoke out of a banger. Yeah.
Knife hits, anything. An apple.
Well, if they're glass knives, or if it's a glass apple,
yeah.
Right? Has to be glass.
Yeah.
So, only glass or only papers? It's tough. I guess if you guys are going to have glass, I'll go with papers because we've got it covered and... Roughly, I can smoke a rolled or a pre-rolled anywhere I go. It doesn't really matter. Those Baby J's, the minis, they're
Those
pretty
are
awesome. The little mini ones about proper for two people. Anyway, yeah, glass or paper.
Glass gives you so many more options.
So much more options. And if you do break your glass pipe, you can go to a gas station, smoke shop. You can call up a friend, say, "Hey, man, I broke mine. Can I come over?" And so I can't roll. I'd rather
I
glass
can't roll
than,
either.
than paper.
Yeah, I guess, but rolling machines and pre-rolls are there. I'm just saying, it doesn't... Yeah, it's an interesting would you rather. I guess all said and done, I'd probably say glass. But I don't mind the rolling papers at all. And if you've seen some of these amazing joints that people can roll...
Oh, man. Like the one that looked like an airplane?
Yeah, exactly. We've seen some that are phenomenal. Do a quick Google search on, like, zany joints or things like that, you'll see some things that will blow your mind. All right,
They're
so I
very
think we
artistic.
settled on glass. Absolutely. Number 2, would you rather have to smoke 75 blunts a day or dab hourly?
Dab.
Dab.
I don't smoke tobacco, so smoking 75 blunts a day, that would be way too much tobacco in my system. So,
Is that what blunts are tobacco? I thought
Blunts-
spliffs were tobacco.
no, blunts are tobacco and weed.
I thought blunts were big joints.
Blunts are rolled in blunt
In-
wraps, which are
in, like,
typically
cigar wraps, yeah.
tobacco wraps, but they
Okay.
make them out of hemp now. I think the only tobacco comes into
typically
play is in a spliff, which is half tobacco and half cannabis. The only tobacco that I've known about in a blunt has been the wrapper, but the people even shied away from that anymore and said we don't want tobacco with our cannabis.
Yeah, we want some hemp wraps.
So they made hemp wraps. So I think you can still find tobacco blunt wraps.
So yeah, if it's a hemp blunt wrap without any tobacco in it, well, then it's a real decision to make 75 blunts a day or dab hourly.
I don't. 70,
Well, if I'm going to get anything done anytime in my life, probably dab hourly, because 75 blunts a day, I would never put one out. I would always be
well,
smoking
you would
one.
have to. I mean, are they
Snoop Dogg.
saying?
Yeah.
Are they saying 75 actual blunts or like 75 blunt hits?
Blunts.
Can't do it. That's 3 an hour, 24/7.
Yeah. I couldn't do
Impossible.
it.
You would finish one and
And
light
start
another one up.
Yeah. I'd rather take a dab an hour.
Not a great would you rather because it's not practical. I'm a guy that would rather smoke a blunt than dab. And this would you rather? Well, I'd rather dab once an hour. Big deal.
Yeah.
Wake me, set up my alarm, wake up at 2 and 3, yeah, whatever. I wouldn't, 75 blunts a day. After the first day, you'd be like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I don't
what
have
we
any
worried.
weed
You'd have
left.
to text it to somebody because you won't be able to talk. All right.
That's true.
I think we settled on the dab hourly instead of 75 blunts. But you ballers out there that said 75 blunts without
You
even
go.
hesitating, get her done and send us videos, man. All right. Would you rather, number 3, fail a drug test for your dream job or spend a week in jail for weed?
Well, this was a
I
tough
would
one.
rather lose the dream job than spend any time in jail for weed. I don't want a record.
Well, yeah, and even if it's on your record, then you actually might not get that dream job.
Yep.
So I would probably say,
I would rather fail the drug test for my dream job.
yeah,
But see, I thought this
'Cause-
was your dream job.
this is my
Well,
dream job.
who's
so-
gonna drug test?
Well, we do, because if you don't
And-
test positive for cannabis, you're fired.
You're fired.
Word.
Right? So if you... I'm just being silly, of course. So fail a drug test for your dream job. I'll tell you what.
Hold on, that
it-
doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to get the job.
It's implied. I think that's the implication here is that you're screwed either way. So you can keep your dream job for a week in jail. Is roughly what this is.
Yeah, call in sick. Oh,
Yeah. Hey, I got a family thing.
yeah.
Well, maybe your dad's the sheriff or the deputy at the jail or something. I don't know.
Dad's a preacher. Who knows?
But I'll tell you what, that dream job, I probably had a pretty good job or two in my life, and I would have probably felt like, if I'd have blown that over a drug test. Jail's no fun either, but would I rather? Yeah, I guess I'd rather spend a week in jail. Whatever, I don't care. Keep my dream job options open, not burn those bridges. Maybe
Yeah.
someone introduced me to these people and I'm going to leave them hung out to dry. I don't know. Interesting question, though.
I think that I would rather not have a record.
That's a
Honestly.
reasonable position, too, because, just because. Who does want one for his...
I mean, working in the cannabis industry, there's even restrictions on
There
who
are.
they can hire with a cannabis conviction.
It's true.
So if I spend a week in jail, I can't even have a cannabis job?
Well, for a felony, you can't.
Well,
but
still.
For a misdemeanor, you're good to go.
But still, that's
yeah,
my thinking in the wanting
Well, no,
to not spend any
for
time
sure.
in jail.
There's a million reasons you have a record for weed now. You might not get that dream job anyway.
Yep.
So, alrighty. Would you rather, number 4, have all the latest smoking gear and subpar bud, or the best strains of 2018, but only able to smoke it out of a can? Now, before we say anything, we all answered this identically with about 0 seconds thought.
Yep.
And here's what it came down to. We'll just say 1, 2, 3. say either that word or that word.
Of what word?
That word
Okay.
or that word. 1, 2, 3.
Can.
It was that simple. Nothing,
I don't want to smoke shitty weed no matter how good my pieces are.
Ever.
It's not going to make the shitty weed any better.
Nothing beats top shelf weed. I agree. They're just, if you're going to smoke, who cares what you're smoking out of if that's your option.
Yep.
Amen.
A can or an apple or whatever else. Yeah. The
So-
good stuff is going to be good no matter what you smoke it out of.
Yeah, when we first read this and we're discussing this, it was
Can.
an instant,
Yeah.
easy decision. Top shelf reefer all the time. Even if I just have to light it while holding it in my fingers.
Yeah.
I'm still choosing
Holding the
that.
can in your hand.
Okay, here's one I don't have a super duper opinion on either way. I gotta tell you, I'd give them both a head or a tail on a coin and flip it and call it, and I'd be happy either way. Would you rather, number 5, smoke a joint with Wiz Khalifa or smoke a blunt with Snoop Dogg?
A blunt with Snoop Dogg.
I'd rather the joint, but I'd rather meet Snoop Dogg. So why don't we all just get together and smoke together?
What's wrong with the blunt? I don't get it. That's just a lot of reefer in a hemp wrapper.
Yeah. And it's with Snoop Dogg. You know it's good shit.
I think you're hung up on blunts. I don't have an opinion. I think both guys are pretty cool. I think they represent the cannabis space really well. But neither of them are necessarily like part of my lifestyle circle per
True.
se. Now, I like the Wiz Khalifa raw rolling papers. They come
Those
with the
are bomb.
crutches. I do like those. I'm more familiar with Snoop. Would you rather? I guess I have to answer this. You guys said Snoop.
I said Snoop.
I'll say Wiz, and we'll have a party. Yeah, why
Word.
not?
Let's
So,
all get together and smoke together.
Yeah, we'll just set it up for the same day, and we'll just roll that way, and
Call it Snoop Dogg. Call it Snoop.
yeah. So
Let's have
no,
a
it'd
party,
be pretty cool. You could obviously insert any 2 names you wanted to, Tommy Chong or Jeff Sessions. I mean, I think I might actually smoke a joint with Jeff Sessions if I had that opportunity, just 'cause. That dude's gotta chill sometime, doesn't he?
Right.
All right, whatever. This isn't about Jeff Sessions. Would you rather, number 6, have an unlimited amount of mids or a 1-year supply of piff? So here it is. Mids, we're talking about mid-grade, mid-shelf cannabis. Nothing great, nothing terrible. Piff, Urban Dictionary for top shelf. So those are your choices. Unlimited mids for life or 1 year of top shelf.
Mids for life.
Mids for life, because you can still buy the top shelf.
Yeah, you could still buy the top shelf. That's it. This is what you're
Do you know
getting.
how fast I would run out?
I'd sell the mids and I'd get the high grade.
Yeah, there you go. So sell the mids and buy, just sell yourself out 4 to 1 or something like that. Yeah, it's interesting. Again, nothing beats top shelf, so I get a 1-year supply of top shelf or a 1 year of mids. I don't
Well,
really
1 year
see
supply
a
for who?
downside. For me, I mean, it's a would you rather. Would you rather?
True.
I guess I'd rather have a year of top shelf reefer. I'm going to
Because
assume
I'll smoke my
that's-
unlimited supply of mid with you anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to assume that it's a reasonable supply. I mean, I couldn't hardly do a gram a day if I wanted. I just wouldn't be able to do that. So I'm a pretty cheap date, 365 grams a year,
Lightweight.
and I'd have surplus. That ain't even a pound. So I'll take a year of top shelf. It'd probably wind up being a 2-year supply for a guy like me. So. Plus, I could sell a bit here and there for top dollar to you two. $20
So,
a gram.
I
What
was
you
going to
think?
share mine
It's
with
a
you.
gram. Hard bargain hard, man.
like we're living in Nevada or something now, huh? Anyway, alrighty. So 2 mids and a top shelf. I think we got all our bases covered. That's mids for life. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And
Wow.
mids aren't bad.
Mids for life. That's practically a wedding vow.
Word.
You got me for life, man. All right. Would you rather, number 7, live in a world where weed is legal and alcohol is not, or a world where alcohol is legal and weed is not?
Live in a world where weed is legal and alcohol is not.
I agree.
So we currently really roughly live in that other world where alcohol is legal and weed isn't. It's interesting because a century ago, those were actually flip-flopped.
Mm-hmm.
Alcohol was made illegal, and then, cannabis at that time was legal. And I'm actually really torn, and I'll tell you why. It doesn't. We shouldn't really complicate these questions, but yeah, that's kind of
That's what
I
we're
do.
best at.
Well, I'm really good at complicating simple things. So I think that if we recognize all of the problems in the cannabis space due to prohibition, we frequently refer back to alcohol prohibition a century ago and how it put so much control into the hands of gangsters, of mobsters, the mafia at that time, and it did. These people created multi-billion-dollar wealths out of that, out of controlling the illegal alcohol trade. So, which is bigger in this country? Would the illegal alcohol trade be bigger than the illegal cannabis trade? I'm going to say it would be.
I think it would be because I think more people drink than more people smoke.
Well, more people do drink alcohol than smoke
Americans,
cannabis, for sure. That is very true. So when I look at this, I think, oh, how terrible would this nation be if alcohol was illegal and it was still utterly controlled
by the mafia.
And that's who would control it. Mafia, cartel, it doesn't matter. It's the same word. They do the same thing. So would we live in a worse nation today if alcohol was illegal and weed was legal?
Whether you put that, I'd have to say no. Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, that's not really the intent of the question, I don't think. But I am considering everything here. And we're so able to navigate through the world that we currently live in, where weed is illegal and alcohol's legal. None of us drink. So that's kind of a moot point. But we all go to places that serve alcohol from time to time where you have to be an adult to go in. Mm-hmm. And I suppose those places might not exist, although speakeasies, always existed back in the day too.
You just have to know the password.
I guess after having overcomplicated all of this, which was utterly unnecessary, I'm advocating for legalization of cannabis. Yeah. It's what we do. It's how we roll.
Yeah, if you have to have one or the other, I would rather the less harmful one be legal.
I suppose that's true. And maybe
far fewer people kill each other on weed than they do on alcohol.
Or
like
get
zero.
Killed. Yeah, right. Or get killed. I mean, there just aren't these crazy, whether it's car accidents or domestic things
overdose.
That go on, or just the violence that can ensue with alcohol. We see videos every single week, some jackass on an airplane or so, just the alcohol got the best of them and all of a sudden they're not who they normally are. So, yeah, I guess I'm going to opt for legal weed and illegal alcohol because that's what I'm all about. But there could be some consequences
Definitely.
there that might be really terrible. So, and I guess we'd be living in a world now where the alcohol advocates, the other side of our coin, would be lobbying for
trying to legalize alcohol.
We'd have medicinal alcohol places in some states, and people would be up in arms again about it. And,
do you really want your kids drinking?
Yeah, right. Wouldn't you rather just have them into your cannabis stash? Yeah,
well, yes, actually.
It would be interesting. So,
it would be less harmful.
I think we're all in agreement on that. We'd like to live in a world where cannabis is legal.
And we all agree that there are certain things about that.
And we might even lobby for alcohol legalization just to put an end to all that crap. But maybe not. Would you rather, number 8, have the hiccups every time you dab, or fart nonstop every time you eat an edible?
Hiccups.
Hiccups. For sure.
Yeah, this is easy for me now because, and it's hiccups for me. I almost never dab, so I can deal with it. But me and edibles, when I have an opportunity, I do. I prefer them. So,
Well, are we talking, really stinky farts, or nobody even notices anything happened? Because
let's assume worst case. That's the point of Would You Rather, right?
Yeah.
You have a
Well, then
real
forget
decision
that.
to make. And
Forget that.
I would do the hiccups.
Definitely. Hiccups are annoying, but you know what? Yeah.
And they're not embarrassing.
No.
Like, they're not that embarrassing.
And I might only have one a year. I'm down. I'm down. I might have none for 4 years. I'm down with a hiccup every time I dab.
Word.
Number 9. And I'm surprised we had varying answers on this. But would you rather, number 9, never smell like weed again or never have red eyes after smoking?
Never have red eyes after smoking.
Never smell like weed again.
I think I'm with Jules on this. I don't give a crap how on fire my eyeballs are.
I don't want people to know that I just smoked or can
I'm-
smell it on me.
Yeah,
The smell doesn't stick long enough.
it does tend to leave. I agree with that. It's not a real lingering. Not like tobacco smoke. It doesn't linger like tobacco smoke at all. I've just
I would rather not have to use Visine. It's a pain in my butt to
I don't
use
care what
Visine.
my eyes
Yeah,
look like.
I don't either, I suppose. I just never have. Generally speaking, if a person catches me in the wrong mood, I tell them I have pink eye. And it just shuts them up and they leave. Because who wants pink eye, right? No, it's a good excuse. I got pink eye, man. Or if they look smart, I say conjunctivitis. Yeah. It might be one of these real deep down emotional responses about smelling like weed. But that is roughly how 100% of people have been busted for cannabis. Someone smelled it, either on them, near them, in their, something like that. The aroma of cannabis. So for me, it might really be just that. I'd really like to hide the smell of it, though I love the smell of it, even though I generally don't care if I smell like it or it's on me. People can smell it. I generally don't care. Yeah, that could be my whole response to not wanting to smell like it. But red eyes, bah, I don't care at all.
Visine is just a pain in my butt.
Yeah, so stop. Would you rather, number 10, always get an insane case of the munchies or fall asleep every time you smoke?
Oh, that's
I
a
think
tough
I
one.
would rather get the munchies.
Well, yeah, because then you can't enjoy the high because you're asleep.
Bingo. Because if you fall asleep every time you get high, well then,
Yeah.
are you
Yeah.
Rip Van Winkle?
I would be sleeping all the time.
Also,
Yeah,
you can have the munchies and not eat something also.
we'd have these permacomas, man. Some people. They would just always be asleep. I guess I'm going to opt for the munchies. Though falling asleep is nice. Behind the wheel, it's bad. But, I'm not generally smoking behind the wheel. So, but the munchies, that's roughly what I get now. Believe it or not, sometimes that leads to having things like carrot chips and hummus.
Mm-hmm.
It leads to having high protein, high fat, low carb, low sugar snacks like, these various diet bars, Atkins, these types of things. Yeah, sometimes.
Make your munchies useful.
Yeah, sometimes it leads to fruit pies and.
Smoke out of an apple and then eat it.
There you go. That's a pretty good call there. So yeah, the munchies don't have to be junk food actually, and you'll be surprised what will actually quench that munchies thirst. Yeah, we opt for healthy snacks when we can. We don't always hit that mark, and sometimes we fail it miserably. But we try to hit that healthy snack, and you can do it too. So the munchies aren't anything to really get too down on. But I think I'm falling asleep, and I'm not smoking. Falling asleep every time you smoke would be pretty annoying.
Yeah.
Unless you only smoke at night, that would totally mess everything up. You couldn't go to work.
Yeah, if that was your purpose, I suppose. Yeah. But why smoke? I guess it beats Ambien, but for sheer pleasure, 2 or 3 Ambien, though. No, I'm kidding. Don't take Ambien for any reason. Would you rather, number 11, pay a premium for bud in a weed legal state or get it for cheap where it's highly illegal? So you get to pay more, but it's legal.
That one.
Or you get to break the law, but it's cheap.
I wouldn't like to break the law because if you got caught, you'd be paying so much more. And you wouldn't have it.
I would rather pay more for weed in an illegal state, definitely.
Yeah. Helps pay the taxes. Yeah.
I'm down with all of that. I really am. I'm so able to function in this black market world of cannabis because I roughly have for, 35, 40 years. It ain't really anybody that knows the cannabis industry, the black market cannabis industry, roughly knows it's pretty easy peasy. You make a call, someone shows up, you chat for a few, you peel off some cabbage and they leave, and you have some reefer. It's almost always a safe transaction, blah, 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 those types of things. But it's not always cheap. And that's one of the things that the legal markets were going to beat down. Now, in some places they are. Colorado and Oregon, they're winning big time. Certain parts of California that we can vouch for, they're winning big time. There's no black market money to be made in the Sacramento, California area. Yeah. Guarantee it. Reefer's way too cheap up there. So,
and it's good weed.
And I guess that's the best of both worlds because it's cheap weed. It's cheap reefer in a legal state. Yeah. So, but it's not the would you rather question. I guess I'm with my partners here that I'd rather not break the law.
You for sure know what you get when you go into
it's true. You get the testing too.
And
we're
you're not
down
supporting
with all
a
of that.
cartel.
So I think there's a lot of reefer these days going out the back door. We know that Oregon has been flat out accused of that happening, and they're doing things to rectify that as a state, but they've got some 400,000 pounds that they can't quite account for that they think has moved a little bit east of Oregon. So they're working on that. But, yeah, I'm pretty down for buying premium weed in a legal state. Knock wood. Any luck at all? Maybe that's the case in Utah later this year, at least with medical. Would you rather, number 12, go a month without smoking or be forced to eat 500 milligrams of edibles every day for 2 weeks?
Oh,
okay, now an edible in a dispensary, one dose is 100 milligrams. So you're going to eat 5 of those every day for 2 weeks.
No, that's not one dose. That's one package. The dose is 10 milligrams. So in your 100 package, you've got 10 doses. Yeah. No, I knew where you were going with that. I knew where you were going with that.
So it's impossible to eat 500 milligrams every day for 2 weeks.
I don't think I could eat 100.
Yeah.
I got to be honest. We've experimented up and down, and sometimes we haven't known what we're ingesting because they've been made in people's kitchens and people we trust.
Potency.
But yeah, we don't know the lab tested potency for sure. But some of the dispensary potency that we've tried, I want to say maybe we've ingested as much as 30 milligrams in one setting, and
that was pretty heavy.
Yeah, it sat us right down. I do know of, I don't know anybody personally, I do know of people who talk about these types of levels of THC every day through edibles, 500 milligrams. And I suppose if there are people in excruciating pain out there, maybe this is a real possible amount for people. For me, I wouldn't be able to do it.
I would be comatose.
I might be out of my mind. I mean, really, I don't. 500, that's actually a number that scares me. Maybe it shouldn't, and maybe I just have a misconception about that much THC in an edible. But that much roughly scares me and doesn't excite me or entertain me to think about eating that much.
No, me neither. I like edibles and I wouldn't eat that much.
Yeah.
I would rather go a month without smoking than eat that much.
Yeah,
that's big coming from me.
And I can easily, not smoke for a month or 2 or 8 or 12 or 60. It doesn't matter. Yeah, that's going to roughly be my answer. Go a month without smoking.
Yeah,
That's
me too.
my would you rather.
Yeah, me too.
I could do that. I don't think I'd make it through those 2 weeks. There you have 12 would you rather questions for cannabis people from the good people at High Times, and from Tim Kohut. Thank you very much for this content. We hope you found it fun and exciting. Think about your would you rathers and hit us back with them, and we'll let you know what we would rather. Say goodbye, Zen.
See ya.
Say goodbye, Jules.
Goodbye!
For C Nation and everyone else involved in this podcast production, this is C Nation John. Talk to you later. Bye. The Kush Journals podcast is a copyrighted production of the South American Gold Corporation. We appreciate your likes and shares on social media, including Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Spotify.